even know what day it is, guys, but didn't really pick up the camera too much. Just kind of went ahead and started charging. So got the alternator pulled, and I pulled a portion of the starter out to check things out internally, and all of the brushes were shattered. I was looking online, and it's kind of a notorious thing for the B7 and B8, the starters fail, and that was definitely what happened with this car. So you can see here is one of the brushes. Here is another one of a portion of the brush. It's broken. And then we have these two that are completely gone, and here are the pieces. So all of these little crumbs are pieces of the brush, and they were wedged in between the magnets that are inside of the motor housing, and caught in these, so it physically just didn't spin, as well as one of the wires actually welded itself. You can kind of see right there. So one of the wires from the brush actually welded itself to the actual internals of the motor. So once it got power, it would constantly arc and just not spin. It would just sit there and get hot. That is what happened. I'm gonna go ahead and try and fix it. I picked up some Duralast brushes, and we are gonna try and rig this up to make it work again. And then once I get this all cleaned up and good to go, I'm gonna go ahead and check the solenoid that is still in the car. The way I got this one out, because taking the starter out on one of these cars is a mission and a half. So what I did was, of course, get the alternator out of the way. Once you get the alternator out of the way, there's just 2 bolts on the back side of the starter, 2 7mm bolts. You can pull those out, disconnect the it's like the signal wire to the solenoid. Once you disconnect the signal wire from the solenoid, you can go ahead and take off a 13mm nut that holds this wire to the solenoid, and then yeah, this piece, or this whole motor assembly, slides off once that is off. And then we're gonna go ahead and see if we can rig it up and get it to work with some different, they're RX60 brushes. Look totally different, so they're actually fairly good size, so I'm gonna have to grind them down just a little bit and get them to fit inside of this piece. So this is definitely one of the toughest jobs that I've had to do with a car. Turbo was pretty unbearable, and I was out there till like 1 in the morning at some points. But this just keeps, there's layers and layers and layers of toughness to it. So we have the starter motor out. That is good. That was totally seized up. We're fixing that. I have it soaking here, so I put just some seafoam to use, kind of oil it and soak it, and then we'll brake clean it after. Same with this one. If you guys can tell, I did go through starting with about 800 grit sandpaper, worked my way up to 2000 grit on the copper pickups right there for where the brushes are gonna sit. I got the brushes all done, as you guys, maybe I didn't show you, I'll show you tomorrow. They're in the car right now, but yeah, so this is all cleaned up, sitting in its bath as well. I will go ahead and spray it with brake cleaner after. So I decided to go ahead and check the solenoid, hook it up to power and see if it actually clicks and engages the gear. it does not. And I can't get to the front of it to actually get the solenoid out, so I'm kind of just like at a standstill wondering what I should do, because the whole point of this was so I didn't have to take the starter out all the way out. So we'll see. I may be able to tomorrow if I take some heat shielding off. It's already going to be like 9 o'clock and I don't want to be out here anymore, so I'll go ahead and see if I can get that solenoid out, because if the motor works and the solenoid doesn't, it defeats the whole purpose of doing this whole project. So we've got to get them both working a-okay, get everything all squared away, and then we can go ahead and clean everything up, put it back together, and get this car on the road, because I can't register it, I can't get anything done with it unless I have it at the MVD, and I don't want to pay for getting it towed all the way over there just so they can do a VIN inspection and be like, oh yeah, that's the car. So anyway, I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. We will at least assemble the starter motor. Hopefully at some point I can get the solenoid out and we can either replace it or fix it. I would rather just fix it and kind of keep with this DIY fix your bad starter type thing, but we will see.